Episode 91. So Bill tells Martin that Kenny is dead. And Martin said he couldn't believe his luck because he was about to burn the house down and tell him everything at the press conference, which he wouldn't have been a congressman anymore, and he more than likely would have been in jail. And some of his family members, as well as Bill, Joey, the chief would have lost his job, and Detective Malone, well, he was about to retire, but he'd probably be locked up too. So yeah, he would have burnt the house with everybody who was part of the Get Along gang too. So yeah, that didn't sound like a great option. And I wonder why Joey was just standing there. He was just really calm, especially since if Martin exposed everything, he would have been exposed too. But I don't know. Guess he wasn't worried about it. So, Martin goes on to tell Bill that his option to handle things was taken away. And I tell you, he gets so dramatic. How about Bill kept your ass, as well as the rest of the Get Along gang, kept your ass out of jail, and you're still a congressman. Next, Martin comes home and sees his luggage. He tells Smitty he's ready to tell them everything, and he wants to talk to Smitty alone. And Smitty tells him the kids should hear it too. No, they shouldn't, because Smitty, you don't even know what he's about to tell you, so how should the kids hear it? But anyway, next, Joey tells Vanessa she's playing a dangerous game. Here go Joey with his threats again. But I don't know. I think Joey's gained some respect in my eyes, because Randy was a terrible choice, but that damn Detective Malone, he ain't no joke. He handled the problem quickly. So yeah, that shows that, maybe she should stop playing this game with him, because he showed that when it comes to crunch time, he will deliver. So I don't know if she want to keep doing all that. So he tells her there are limits to what he can tell, and he won't cross those limits. And now I believe him. And he tells her if she wants to know what happened that night, just say the word. And she thinks she wants to know what happened. She thinks she's mobster or mob wife now, but no, honey. No, you need to stay your lame self out of Joey's business. Next, Vernon tells Bill that he looked him in the eye and they agreed that Joey wouldn't be involved. And Bill tells him he heard what his self-righteous ass wanted to hear. I hear Bill. Vernon shouldn't have got Bill involved and then tell him to fix everything if he didn't want the situation taken care of by any means necessary. So Bill tells Vernon that maybe he will stop helping after that night. And Vernon tells him they both know who holds the power. So there Vernon goes again. You're threatening him. You upset at how he handled things, but you telling him you hold the power. So which one is going to be? Next, Smitty tells Martin he wants answers. And he tells him he saw Kenny and he wants to know what happened 2 years ago. So Martin tells Smitty 2 years ago he was at a political event with Vernon. And before I go any further, I cannot believe it. The day has come. We will finally hear what happened that night in question. So, 2 years ago, Martin and Vernon was at a political event and they took a wrong turn. They got a flat tire and Martin said that they took the scenic route, meaning that they took some back roads. More than likely, they were in sundown territory. And if people don't know what sundown towns are, they are towns where black people especially cannot be after after sundown. That's why they call it sundown town, because if you're there after sundown, then your life is in great danger, or you may not have your life anymore. So Martin says it was a dark, deserted country road, and they thought they were all alone. So two good old boys, meaning Kenny and his brother, showed up looking for trouble. One of them asked Martin how much money they got. And one of the boys, how much money he's got, and that phrase, what color is your money? So one of the boys goes to hit Vernon, and a fight ensued. Well, he hits Vernon, and Vernon goes down, and Martin sees red, because I don't blame him. His granddad is up in age, and here it is, some younger white racist dudes are coming up here putting their hands on his granddad. So Martin says he sees red, and he already had a tire iron in his hand. So that shows Kenny and his brother weren't too smart, because they didn't have any kind of gun or anything, and that's good that they didn't, because things could have turned out a lot worse. But anyway, so Martin sees red, and he goes to get the brother off of Vernon. So he's just hitting and hitting and hitting, and he kills the brother. And he starts to go in on the other brother, which I believe was Kenny, and he just goes ham on him, and Vernon had to stop him. They said blood was everywhere, and basically Martin disfigured Kenny's face, but he was still alive. That's the story. And so Smitty says that he can't believe it. He's crying, and this story is so much more, in my opinion, deeper than what I thought. Well, I thought it was something like that, but it's a story that any black person can go through. Even today, in 2025, it doesn't matter how much money you have or what your status. If you're black, you can make a turn down a wrong road, and it could cost you your life, because you don't know who you're running into. And I've had those situations happen where you're just praying to hurry up and get up out of this place, because you know something's ain't right, and you don't want to see who shows up. So you're praying to hurry up and get out before someone shows up. Some years ago, I was a diversity trainer, and we were holding a training in an area that wasn't very friendly to black people or minorities. I don't know. Someone saw us at the gas station. They called in the enforcement. And next thing I know is we see a truck with life-size, I say life-size Confederate flag, because I've never seen a Confederate flag that big. And they basically box us into the gas station, and someone felt sorry for us, because even the gas station attendant, nobody called the police. I don't know if they did. The police didn't show up. She was one of the folks that showed up could have been the police. I don't know. So somebody felt sorry for us, the people behind us, and they gave us enough room to get up on the grass. The freeway was very close. The highway was very close by. The truck with the Confederate flag followed us all the way to the highway exit to make sure that they escorted us out of town. When this story was told, it took me back to that, and it just made this, and that happened in 2000, about 2005, early 2000s. And so it just goes to show that even though this stuff, a lot of times people, when they hear about it, they're like, oh, that stuff don't happen anymore. Oh, that was way back in segregation, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. It can still happen today if you're the wrong skin color. So, yeah, this story was very powerful because I understand how a wrong turn can cost you your life. And it didn't cost us our life, but the fear that it put in myself as well as the other occupants of that car. This storyline touched me. Next, Martin says Vernon knew who to call. He called Detective Malone to show up and take care of the boys. Detective Malone brought Chief Hawthorne with him. Vernon told Detective Malone to get Martin out of there and to take him home. And he tells Smitty that's when he saw him. He had Vernon clothes on because his clothes was full of blood. And Martin says that he destroyed Kenny's face and he sees it in his dreams. And I knew the money Detective Malone got was the payoff for him helping Vernon. So Martin says something in him snapped when that white man put his hands on his granddad. Something in him snapped and he didn't want to control it. And I think that's the part right there that folks don't get, who's not black or who's never experienced that kind of racism. The dirty, nasty history of racism in this country and how it's affected black people still lingers. And I love how the writers are tackling real life issues. Next, Detective Malone shows up to talk to Joey. Vanessa is there still thinking she running the show, telling Joey she's gonna stay to hear everything. And so Joey yells at her and tells her enough. And he ain't ever got that mad before. Her butt straightened up real quick. And he let her know that everything isn't fun and games and that this situation is not a game. And it wasn't. So he's finally putting his foot down and letting her know who's in charge. Next, Bill is drinking alone at the bar. And here comes Danny. Oh my gosh. Smiling and being all nice and want to know what's wrong with him. And she just won't learn. She won't learn. She just loves being treated like crap, I guess. And at this point, it's whatever. Next, Martin tells Smitty that Kenny was one of the boys and that Ted was called in to do a facial reconstruction on Kenny's face because of the damage Martin did to it. So Kenny was then given money to live overseas, and Martin tells Smitty that Kenny got hired at the country club as a busboy. And Martin says he didn't realize who he was until he made that "what color is your money" phrase. And Smitty tells Martin that he failed them. And I agree, because Martin put them in a lot of danger not telling them what happened. But then I do understand Vernon told him not to tell what's happened because there's so many moving pieces and people involved. This is just a really difficult situation. It's not black and white, so to say. Yeah, it's hard because you can see both sides of the coin. Next, Danny, oh Lord, is volunteering to be Bill's therapist, and he tells her that her dad just chewed him out without telling her the context of why Vernon chewed him out. No, she tells Bill that, oh, it can't be that bad because my dad saw something in you years ago, and so that's why, he's always had some respect for you because he saw something in you, blah, blah, blah. Next, Vernon tells Anita the incident from 2 years ago has come back and that Martin is drowning. Next, Smitty tells Martin he's so sorry what happened to him happened. And he says that it should have came a time, especially when Kenny came back, for Martin to tell the family. And Smitty tells him he has to leave tonight until the danger has passed, and Martin tells him that it's over because Kenny is dead. And that ends the episode.